Hello guys, this is Ropas, this is my little studio, and today we will talk about how to use the compressor.
Under attack.
First of all guys, I wanted to thank you for the success of my game that is going really strong on Spotify and also the music video on YouTube. On Spotify, the track went on many US playlists and is going really strong. We are actually over 15,000 streams, and all these streams are basically after the 28th of February. So like in 15 days we made like 15,000 streams and I'm really proud for it. On YouTube instead I had many problems because I uploaded the official video that has a middle finger like that, and even if I reached 12,000 streams, I had problems with Google Ads for promoting the music video. So the Google policy says that I can't promote that video. So that's why I uploaded another video that's basically the same but without the middle fingers. And right now I have an explicit version and the official video. The explicit version was the first video I uploaded, that's over 12,000 views, and the other one is the video I just uploaded. So I hope you will help me to reach the same views of the other video and maybe help me to overcome the 12,000 views. By the way, today I'm here to talk about the compressor. Yeah, the compressor is basically the most important tool for the music producer. There are many types of compressors and many techniques, and I could stay here for an hour talking about them. But today I just wanted to let you know the basics and how to use any compressor in the correct way. The compressor is the tool that lowers down the volume of an audio signal. The compressor basically works on the envelope of this audio signal, and the envelope is the waveform. So at the end the compressor compresses the sound, that's why it's called like this. The main function of the compressor is to lower down the peaks of an instrument and to make this instrument more clear and with few differences between the peaks and the lows in the volume. Okay, let's open FL Studio and let's see how it works. Here I took a synth bass, that's this instrument. That's a synth basically. A voice.
You're not invited to the party. You're not invited to the party. You're not invited.
And these drums. I choose these three instruments because I wanted to show you how the compressor works on different instruments. But first of all, I wanted to show you these different types of compressor. Okay, here I open a FabFilter Pro C2. That's the compressor I use for the 95% of my compressions. That's a soft tube FET compressor. That's the Fruity compressor. That's the native compressor from FL Studio. And that's the FC70. That's another compressor that simulate the FC70. I wanted to make you the lesson on the FabFilter Pro C2 because I think is the easier compressor in the market and it shows you better the function, basically. So here you can see that we have two parameters, the threshold and the ratio. The threshold is the point where you set the beginning of the compression, and it's in dBs. So if you set the threshold at, for example, minus 6 dB, you can see that the compression will work only if the sound will overcome that volume. If the sound is lower than the threshold, it will pass through the compressor and it will be not compressed. When the sound overcomes the threshold, the compressor, as I said before, will low down the volume. But you can decide the ratio of the sound that comes back low to the threshold. Thanks to these parameters, that's the ratio. The ratio could be 1:1, for example. In this case, everything that goes over the threshold passes through, so it basically doesn't compress. If you set the ratio, for example, to 2:1, only a half of the sound comes back lower. If you set the 3:1, is higher, for example, etc., etc. The rule is that more is high the ratio, more the sound will be compressed. You can see that here we have other two parameters, the attack and the release. The attack basically can decide where the compression starts working, and the release basically decide when the compressor ends to work. If you set the attack and the release to a high number, for example, usually is in milliseconds, you can see that here, for example, is 0.25 milliseconds, the compression will be smooth. So if I set, for example, 40 milliseconds, the compressor, will be smooth. If you set the attack to a low number, the compressor will be strong. And the release is the same because it's the setting that control where the compressor ends. You can see that here we have other parameters. For example, in the FabFilter Pro C2, we have also the wet gain and the dry gain. These knobs are for the control of the volume into and out to the compressor. Then you can see that we have the knee parameter that shows how hard or smooth the compressor is working on peaks. Then we have the range that shows you what is the range of volume where the compressor works. Here you can see that we have the look ahead parameter that's switched off and is used for letting the compressor have a look ahead of the sound and preparing it for the compression. I never use it because it's hard for the computer and for the CPU, and I think it's basically useless. And here you can see that we have the hold parameter that can hold the compressor for an amount of time. So basically pump the compression, but it also dirts the sound. You can see that here at the right we have a meter that shows you the volume of the signal after the compression and how many dBs the compression is slowing down the signals. You can see that here we have this red meter that shows you how we are slowing down the signals. Then you can see that here we have the sidechain. That's an interesting thing because it gives you the opportunity to set manually a range of frequencies where the compressor works. For example, here, if I switch on this band, you can see that I make an high pass filter, so the compressor will work only on these range of frequencies, and the low freaks will not be compressed. I can also, for example, turn on this band and make a low pass filter or a band filter, etc. And I also can choose the exactly hertz where it works, and also the dBs for octaves. The last thing I wanted to show you is this. That's basically the preset thing. I wanted to give you an advice. Use these presets. The reason is simple. The people who programmed these presets are always good sound engineers, so they know what they are doing. And so my advice is starts from a preset and then modify the parameters for your instrument. For example, if I have to compress the drums, I will start from, for example, the drum setting, and I will go to basic punch. And then I will modify the other parameters for my instrument. Okay, that's it. Now I wanted to show you how it works. So I switched off all these compressors and I only set on the fan filter. Okay guys, you can see that here is on the compressor, but it basically doesn't working because the peaks are not involved in the compressor. You can see that if I switch off and if I switch on, the compressor is the same. But if I lowers down the threshold, you can see that the peaks are slightly compressed. So right now is working the compression, and now I adjust the dry or the wet, and I adjust also the sidechain. You can see that here in the meter now I'm compressing the sound by 4.6 more or less dBs. If I switch on or switch off the compressor, now the difference is really strong. Here you can see that even with the vocal is the same, but you can see that is working harder. If I change the parameters to vocals, you can see that the compression is more gentle than before, and I think the attack is even faster, but the release is lower. You also can see here that with the synth is basically the same. And for example, in my tracks, I always set the pumper preset because for the synth, I think gives more punchiness. You can see that here the compressor is really compressing strong. But if I lower down the ratio and high up the threshold, the compression results smoother than before. So now I just showed you three types of different compressions. For the drums, the compression was harder, for the vocal was smoother, and for the synth, I basically pumped up the sound. The point is that you know how all the parameters works. You can basically compress everything, and in the mix channel the compression is every time ahead the other functions. So during the mixing you have first to compress, then to equalize, and then to add other effects. That's why, as I said in the other video, the compressor and the EQ are like the king and the queen of the mixer channel. For today, that's it. Thank you for watching, guys. Also today, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I helped you in the music production, because my last videos wasn't about the music production, so I wanted to come back and make a basic tutorial. Thank you for watching again, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok. Leave a comment below and watch the new video that I uploaded, the new music video of my game. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Ciao!